Yeah, thanks again for meeting with me, and congrats on hitting the milestone for terms and conditions. That's
Thank you.
really awesome. Um, yeah, we met at Fantastic Fest a few months
I
ago.
bought your book on Nightmare on Elm Street, if I remember correctly.
I know, and if I remember correctly, I saw that you had dyed your hair red and green, and I made a beeline for you, like, oh, oh, hello, potential victim. I mean, buyer. Um,
It turns out I was your exact audience.
Nice. Yeah, it was funny. Austin, who is also involved with the film, I was talking to him early in the fest and I mentioned it, and he like the book that I wrote on Nightmare on Elm Street, and he's like, "Wait, what?" Like his demeanor shifted slightly, and he's like, "Wait, you wrote?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have it with me." He's like, "Okay, I don't have money right now. Find me tomorrow, or I will find you." And he did, and
Nice.
it was hilarious. I've never been to Austin before or been a Fantastic Fest, but I can tell that you have an amazing community down there. And they're helping you with your first film, Terms and Conditions. Is that
Th-
right?
they are, yeah. So I was new to Fantastic Fest in 2019, and that first year, I realized I'd found my people. And so I kept volunteering. I came on staff a couple years ago on the programming team. I'm now head of submissions.
Oh,
And this past year at Fantastic Fest, I was just so encouraged by the other, like the filmmakers that we bring in and that I got to talk to and meet. That like it was just time for me to do the thing. I'd always wanted to do it. I had a cloud account just stuffed full of scripts that I'd tinkered with and worked on features and shorts and TV pilots. I've tried to write a little bit of everything just to learn the craft, and I was like, that's great. And I've had some friends read them and they've enjoyed them, but it's time to like actually make something, get it out in the world, right? And so I had this script called Terms and Conditions. It was actually based on a little um,
mm.
conversation I'd had with a buddy of mine that I've known for like 20 years, and we were riffing on some experiences we've had in the tech industry. And he went off and wrote a short story, and I kind of kept noodling the idea. And he came back with this short story, and I'm like, I love it, but I'm also going to write it as a screenplay if you're cool. And so that's where the screenplay came from. And then as I started having this idea of, I should make something, which actually, had been kind of ruminating for a while. I'd been sharing the script out, and every time I shared it with someone who could work on a film here locally, or our editor who's in Vancouver, is a really good friend of mine. I shared it with her. I always had the same reaction of, I love this. I laughed all the way through it. I want to help you make it if you decide to make it. And so when I finally got bit by the bug and said, all right, this is the year I'm going to do it, that was the script. Because I knew I potentially, as long as everyone, that had said that to me came on board, I had a whole crew, and they did. And so we spun up our crowdfunding campaign here in the, just the tail end of the year. And yeah, as you alluded to, just this week, we hit our green light goal with Seed and Spark, which means the campaign's a success. We'll actually get the funding from the campaign now. We've got a little ways to go to get to fully funded, which is our actual budgeted amount that we wanted to make the film for. But we have a matching grant on the table right now. So anything anyone pledges is matched. And I feel like with that in place, we're in a really good position to actually finish the campaign strong and be fully funded so I can pay this group of artists what they're worth. Well, a fraction of what they're worth, but what I'm able to pay them. And we can make this movie the way we wanted to make it. So yeah, that's where we're at. I guess I should actually talk about what the film's about, right?
Well, I was gonna say um, let me know if I have this right. It is a short about a tech bro listed as a douchey tech bro, but maybe that goes without saying. I don't know. Who uses AI to conjure a demon because a girl that he likes put him in the friend zone, or so he says. Is that about right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what just when I read that, I was like, A, how has that never been done yet? It seems like and like I get that you're doing it as like a short, but I can see that as like a feature, like on Shutter. Like, is that am I jumping the gun a little bit? Do you think that's where it could go down the line?
I mean, I would be thrilled if the right people saw the short and said, Do you have a feature script in that? Because I do, and I'd be happy to work on that. And that's kind of how I, maybe not everyone looks at horror shorts the same way, but maybe that's how I'm looking at it, is like, I want to use this as like a calling card. I want to use this to start conversations with people so that I can keep making things. I'll happily keep making shorts, but I do have feature scripts completed, some ready to go, some still needing a little bit of work. I'm in the middle of working on one. I'm pointing to my whiteboard right behind my computer monitor with notes for a feature I'm working on my little 2-week vacation here from my day job. And yeah, so that's kind of the dream for us, is like, if a bunch of us local artists who want to make weird, campy, queer horror stuff can keep opening up the right doors, having the right conversations to continue making stuff. That's kind of what we're here for. So Austin, who you alluded to earlier, is a producer on my short. And I actually was working on his short a year and a half as his production designer. He's since spun up a production company specifically to help make queer films. And so that's part of why he's involved with mine. I know he's got a couple other things in the hopper, and yeah, we're just going to go for it. We're going to make stuff and look for our audience. I think we're finding it. And yeah, that's kind of where we're headed.
That's excellent. And especially you have like your own sort of ready-built horror community down in Austin. And like I said, even though I've only been to Austin once, I got a really strong whiff of the community down there. It really just feels like you all are ride or die for each other. And it's always nice when you don't have to blackmail someone to do post. Um,
For sure, for sure.
Always a plus. And now you work in the tech sector, so this I would imagine this idea came to you a little bit easier than most, or like a little bit fully formed. Is that right?
For sure. I like to say that this short is kind of the real me putting the old me to death. I do still work in the tech sector as my day job.
Mhm.
In 2021, I came out as gender queer at the age of 42. So had spent my whole life trying to figure out why I never felt comfortable and why I was always angry, and trying to be more manly, and that wasn't working. And then one day it was like, oh, it's because that's not me. And so in the short, the demon that shows up is genderqueer. The demon that shows up does not like the vibes from the tech bro and decides to use his own tech against him. But yes, a lot of the concepts for the tech bro and his approach to things come from actual conversations I've had with people at work, which was a little awkward when I was pimping my film at our company holiday party a couple weeks ago. I was like, oh, I maybe shouldn't talk about this too much before one of y'all recognizes yourself.
Hey, that sounds like Dave. Doesn't that sound like Dave?
No, it's definitely not Dave. I swear. That's, if you'll notice, the character's name is not Dave. Definitely not Dave.
Oh, there we go. Glug glug glug. Um, yeah, but it's I mean it's a great idea, and I have a BFA in like screenwriting. Well, not like
Love it.
screenwriting, it is dramatic writing. So I'm just sort of fascinated as sort of like story and how you can take something that goes from like maybe you conceived it as a feature and now it's a short. And I think like especially when you're, putting yourself out there and making your first film, or even an early film, it's a real skill to take a feature-length concept and turn it into a short. So without spoiling the eventual film, can you sort of talk about how you sort of did that into like a bite-sized sampler?
Yeah. Shorts come in all different shapes and sizes. I think technically, I don't work on the short side at Fantastic Fest, but I think technically our upper limit is 40 minutes. Um, but I don't think I will ever make a short that would even be 20 minutes, let alone 40 minutes, because the way I look at a short is, you don't have time to give all the lore. You don't have time for all the exposition. You don't even really have time for a big character arc and all. What you need is, you need an emotion, a punchline, whatever that is that you want them to feel in that moment.
Mhm.
You give just enough setup to bring them along with you to get them there. Then you hit them with that punchline or that emotion, whatever that is, and then you leave them there wanting more. And so that's really how I looked at this short, and a couple of the other short scripts I've written, is what's that emotional hook? What's that main thought or idea I want them to have, and how can I best hit that, and then just walk away while the audience is still feeling that and wrestling with it, and leave them wanting more in a sense. Um, Without them feeling like they've been cheated or they didn't get the whole thing, right?
Oh,
So
totally.
it's a delicate balance, but that's how I approach it.
Yeah, it's funny when I was at Brooklyn Horror Film Fest right after Fantastic Fest. I met a filmmaker who has his short playing the festival, and I saw it, and I told him after. First of all, it was really good. It's called The Binding, and it ends where you want to know what's going to happen next, but you still feel like you've seen a complete thing. But I told him like, oh, it's such a relief when someone tells me they have a short and you see it and it's really good. I'm like, yeah.
For
I,
sure.
I'm sure working at Fantastic Fest, you see like you know you're talking to filmmakers all the time. I mean, you have boots on the ground to help you make the film, but has
Yeah.
working at the fest has that sort of influenced the way that you came at things in terms of anything from funding to your creative process? Like, is there some Fantastic Fest DNA, I guess, in this?
I mean, there's definitely Fantastic Fest DNA in just the whole vibe of the piece. That like it is definitely something that I know that particular audience will love. But yeah, as I've worked on the submission side, the feature submission side for a couple years now. As I said, I just became head of submissions, and so I'm talking to filmmakers all throughout our process. And then during the fest, I'm working with them to do their Q and A's and their intros and all the various events that they have. And I think the biggest thing I walked away from this year in those interactions with filmmakers was just don't be afraid to get scrappy. Don't be afraid to just get out there and get it done and push. No one's going to fight for your project unless you do. And I think that was kind of the thing that part of what held me back was I don't know if I have an audience. I don't know if I have people that would want to work on this. I don't know if people are going to dig what I want to put out there.
I
And then
want to work
as
on this,
that's
and I'm a straight guy from New York, but go on.
so yeah, that was the thing. As people started to like really lean in, at least on this one concept, I realized, okay, I've got people that are willing to go to bat. If I show them I'm willing to like, actually go out there and put in the effort and fight for this project. And that's really what I've been doing is getting scrappy. I've been working with my producers to make sure our budget is reasonable, but not so lean that we can't actually do the thing that we want to do, that we can do it the way we want to do it. Um, and yeah, just I wasn't sure. We're doing crowdfunding as I've mentioned on the Seed and Spark platform. I'm not a fundraiser. I've never done this kind of thing before. I've never had to go and ask people for money, which is very weird, especially if it's like, hey, you famous producer guy that I met at a festival that I work at. What do you think?
Huh?
But
You,
I mean,
me, yeah.
yeah, maybe we make a thing. But yeah, what I realized was if I care about the project and I can sell that, my passion for the project, it's going to get other people excited to be a part of it. And so that's really what I've been doing. I haven't tried to be pushy or salesy. It's just, hey, I'm doing this thing that I've always wanted to do. My whole life, I've been a writer, but my whole life I've wanted to take those writings and turn them into something. And now I'm doing it. And this is the idea. And I think it's great. I think it's hilarious. And maybe you want to be a part of it. And it turns out a lot of people have wanted to be a part of it. And so, yeah, I was a little trepidatious, I would say, and it's been a grind for sure. Like we're running a 45-day campaign, and over the holidays no less, because I was too bullheaded to wait until the new year. My producer's like, we'll probably get a better, give people their time to settle, give people their time off, and then we'll come at them strong in the new year. I was like, no, I want to be shooting in the new year. Let's go now.
Yeah.
And you know, that
No,
it's
when it
worked.
feels
Like I
right,
said,
it feels
we're
right.
in our green light. We're almost fully funded. So, I think that passion has shown through, and it's gotten people on board. So yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely teed up for something special. And Excuse me. Um, yeah, I always tell people I ride the struggle bus through Imposterville all the time, and I'm terrible at
Yes.
self-promotion. So I feel like when I see people who are like, I'm like, yeah,
You get me.
I get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 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 no. I'm like, that's why I'm like, I feel like such an asshole walking around Fantastic Fest with copies of my book in my bag. Not to keep bringing it back to me, but that's what you do, you know? Like if you
Hey,
have like,
that was a finished published book, and you were in the right place to pimp that to people. And the only other time I've been approached by someone with written material in a bag was at a writer's like happy hour. There was a guy walking around with a like 180-page script in his bag, trying to like hand it to people at a happy hour. I was like, whoa, 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 buddy, I'm not reading that now. But a book on
heavy.
a film series that I love, yeah, let's do that. I'll buy that happily.
Glad that worked. But so, oh, excuse me again. There's Kickstarter, there's Indiegogo. I'm just curious, and I think a lot of other people are too. Like you're sort of deciding between crowdfunding platforms. Why Seed and Spark in this case?
Um, what really drew me into Seed and Spark was the fact that it is designed specifically for film projects, and the people working on it. Like we had to go through a whole approval process to get our campaign live. And part of that process was them helping us understand, hey, this is what film audiences want. These are things that will actually impact how your film can be distributed. Or, I mean, we had on there, because we don't know what we're doing, this really high tiered incentive that was like, and we'll give you a producer credit. And they came back to us and they're like, hey, I know you've seen other people do this. We don't recommend you doing this because this can actually impact your PGA. Uh, uh, uh,
Mhm.
what's the word I'm looking for?
Standing or fees.
Eligibility. Yeah,
Yeah.
this can impact PGA eligibility for this project or anyone that worked on it. And I was like, oh, never mind. So working with someone who understands not just the crowdfunding side, but also the film side, the industry side, was really important to us because, like I said, like we're just kind of trying it out, making it, making our thing our own way. And so we don't know what we don't know. So having a trusted advisor there that helps was really important to me. They also have some other incentives. They've got a patron circle where industry professionals will kick into projects that meet certain criteria that they vibe with. Unfortunately, we actually started our campaign too late in the year, and all that funding had already been used up. But a lot of those different things were things that attracted me to the platform, and I've been really happy with not just the amount of support we've been given, but also the advice and guidance we've gotten along the way.
Totally. And I have to ask, those mood boards in the Seed and Spark, did you come up with those before or did they suggest that? Because I love those. I'm a sucker for collages.
Oh, I shortly after I had finished the script, I had talked to Austin about it, just like in passing. I had actually just signed on to do his short, so this was like a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, and I was kind of talking to him about the things that were in my head about the short. And after that conversation, I went home and did like a lookbook for it. Again, I wasn't even thinking about making it at the time, but I realized that it was really hard to verbalize what I was seeing in my head. And it was so much easier to show people. So yeah, there are clips from other movies and things like that, but it really helped me sell the idea of it to the other people that are now on the crew. Like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I think it should look like. This is what I want it to feel like when you're in it. And yeah, it was that. Again, it was a thing I did almost as a creative exercise as part of the project. Like I had the script, and I realized talking to Austin, it's really hard to explain some of these things sometimes with just words. It would be so much easier to show pictures, and there it is. So, and yeah, then once we got to the campaign, it was like, well, this is a natural fit. This is obviously something we should share this to, further sell that vision to our now growing audience. So,
That's awesome. Yeah, I love seeing little sizzle reels of things that people make online and even little pastiches. I think it definitely helps. Um, and so according to the website, you were in pre-production waiting for the campaign. I guess you're still in, even though you have the green light, you're still currently right now in pre-production. Is that right?
We are still in pre-production. In fact, I feel very strongly in not taking free labor from people. So, other than the producers and myself, no one has actually been working on the film to prep it for production. It's just been me on the writing end, me and the producers working on budgets, finding the right people for the right roles, and asking them to hold time for us. But once we had the green light, I literally blew up our group chat for the crew and individual chats with everyone. Like, what do you need right now? Like, we haven't gotten paid out from the campaign. That doesn't happen until it ends on New Year's Eve. But if you need something to get started right now, let me know. We'll figure it out. And I'm trying to get everyone moving as fast as possible. We want to shoot into February. And we've got a lot of like custom prosthetics we need to do for the demon. We actually still need to cast that demon role before we can do the prosthetics. So we've got a lot of things we need to get going on like immediately. And so as soon as that green light hit 2 nights ago, or no, it was last night. As soon as the green light hit last night, when I woke up this morning, I started blowing up everyone's phone. So we are launching into action immediately. The DP and the gaffer and I are already talking shot list and lighting options. First ADs already working with us on building a schedule off of what we come up with on that, and all those things. So we are frantically jumping in with both feet right now. So
I mean, that's great. I was going to ask, like, for me, it would be so nerve-wracking to just be doing, I know hurry up and wait is like the
mhm.
one of the phrases in the industry, but like you're just sort of sitting there, you're doing as much as you can, but like, how do you, I mean, I guess, are you just watching the money go up and like hoping and going like, oh, if we don't get this, then I'm going to pivot? Like, because like this turned out great, but like what happened? Were you prepared for other eventualities, and how do you prepare yourself? Not that I
Yeah.
want to
So
like get you talking about like, oh, what if it didn't? But like, it's fascinating because I'm a very impatient person.
yeah, I mean totally. I was um, I've been scribbling ideas on like, okay, well, when I can talk to Jimmy, my DP, these are the things I want to talk about. And oh, I wonder if he's got this piece of gear or like, things like that. So I've been making lots and lots of notes that I can finally start bugging him with all these questions on that I feel like I can bug him. He probably would have answered them anyways. But yeah, as far as like funding and contingency plans, we know we can cut here, we know we can cut here, and maybe it won't be exactly what we wanted, but it would be good, right?
Hmm.
One of the things we felt very strongly about from the beginning is doing an actual custom design for our demon. I feel like a lot of things at our budget level would just grab stuff off the shelf and then all your demons look the same. And I don't want that. So, but that was always a contingency. If we have to, we can cut the custom work there and save a little bit of money there. I mean, one of our contingencies was even, well, if it doesn't hit the green light and we didn't get enough support, we'll re-rack it, figure out what we did wrong, why we weren't connecting with people, and like rewrite the whole campaign and start again. Luckily, we didn't have to do that. But I will say that the biggest thing, the thing I've been spending most of my time doing is reaching out to people one on one. You kind of, when you see a campaign in the wild, you see what we're putting out there to the masses, and it's easy to think maybe that's all there is. And I'll say 80% or more of our funding has come from one-on-one outreaches between myself or my producers or even some of the crew members reaching out to people in their network, and then actually early backers reaching out to their network and asking other people to get involved. And it's those one-on-one connections of, oh, this is someone I know who's really passionate and I want to support their passion. I'll get on board with that. And that's kind of how we made it work. So the contingency was me asking more and more people for the most part.
Nice. I mean, I feel like as a indie filmmaker, you always sort of have to know, like, okay, if not, it's like that mobile game where you're like racing and then like you're on this ledge, then you're on this ledge, and it just keeps going, and it's just a matter of
Mm-hmm.
like still going. So I'm just sort of fascinated at like people who manage to do that. Not that you've necessarily had to do it thus far, but like the fact that you were prepared is just, it's rad.
I mean, it's a constant hustle. We knew if we hit certain moments and we weren't where we needed to be, we knew like, okay, here's an alternate idea we can try. We can do this. We can reach out to this group. We can beg this person to send an email out to their community, and maybe that'll bring in something. So things like that were always on the table. We tried. Honestly, we've tried a lot of them, and so far it's worked for us really well. And then yeah, we like I said, we had backups on like we can cut here, we can cut there. Well, we were pretty determined to make a movie this time, um, and so we were going to find a way, and luckily it worked. So
Yeah, you did. That's a Christmas miracle. Or
amen.
yeah, or not even a miracle because it was destined to happen. Pick one of those. We'll fix that in post, Matt. But um, that is about all I got for you. I mean, we got to have you back on just to talk about submissions and Fantastic Fest and
Oh sure, I'd love to.
everything because it's. I mean, it was my first year and it was freaking life changing. So
Love to hear that.
like it, and it's like it's sort of like I found out lots of things were cliches that are you think they're cliches, but they're true. Like you just got to do it, and then you'll do it. And I'm like, well, that's
Yeah.
but like no, like you just put one foot in front of the other and you do it, and then you go to Fantastic Fest, and not that Fantastic Fest needs any more hype because it everyone knows it's the best thing ever, but there's like a whole sea of people who have done the same thing to get where they are standing with you drunk in the highball at 1 a.m. just
Yeah.
like high on life. But before we go, is there anything else that I may have missed or that you want to tell us about terms and conditions, which is still seeking its funding, has reached its green light, but could always use more money. So give like hell, people. Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I mean, to build on that, greenlight is the term that Seed and Spark uses where our campaign's a success and they pay out to us, and that's 80% of our total funding goal. So we are a little over 80% right now. We have what is it, 5, 6 days until New Year's Eve. Basically, midnight New Year's Eve, our campaign is over. So there's still time to get involved, to jump on the terms and conditions train, and help us get our budget to the point where we can make the movie the way we wanted to. And there is still a matching challenge grant in place. There's about $4,000 left on that. So every dollar that comes in is going to be matched. So everything you pledge goes twice as far. But you can find out more about the film in general and find out how to get involved at termsandcons.com. That's the easiest way to find us. And then you can link out to our Instagram and Blue Sky from there, but termsandcons.com will take you to our Seed and Spark page.
Awesome. Yeah, we're gonna throw your links all over the place. Don't worry about it.
Love it.
Yeah, but Dooley, this was rad. Thanks so much for taking the time and everyone at Macabre Daily, give them money, damn it.
Please. Thank you. Yeah, this has been great. Thank you so much.